Greetings everyone, welcome back to the inTutor. Today we are going to be talking about the concept of arrays. But before then, if you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, you have found the videos interesting. Well, I invite you to subscribe, share, like, and hope to see you in the next videos. And an array is a collection of data of similar type organized and stored in a linear manner in the computer memory. Well, how do you define an array? You define an array in the same manner as you can define a variable. You give it data type, it could be an integer, it could be a character. After giving it data type, you give it a name. It could be my array. Just that the difference is that it always has a square bracket. And this square bracket should have in itself the maximum number of elements that this array can hold. So if my array would hold a maximum of 15 elements, I would say, okay, my array square bracket, and in that square bracket, I just give 15. This is how we declare an array in C programming. Well, how can we initialize this array? Initializing the array is just a way of like giving values during declaration. So giving values to this element, you use the curly brackets. And in these curly brackets, you now fit in the 15 integers we had at the beginning. In this example, we are going to be focusing on the one-dimensional array. So after declaring and defining the array, what we could do next is actually see how to traverse the array. What's traversing an array? Traversing an array is actually going through the array, like to view out, getting through all the elements of this array. Well, there's the main way of traversing an array in C programming and in other programming languages is by making use of a for loop. So we now say, okay, and we know that each time we are to use a for loop, we must have an integer that will permit us to traverse the loop. So we now say, okay, for I being equal to 0 to I less than 15, taking I in an incrementing order. To now print out the values of my array, we are going to be printing out my array at the position of I. So something interesting about arrays is that arrays are indexed. So the first position has as index 0. If you want to access the first array, we are going to have to see position 0. What I'm saying here is that my array at position 0 is actually going to have as value 1. And my array at position that goes right down to my array of position 14, my array of index 14, excuse me, would give us the value of 5. So the index of an element in an array is not its position. The index is the position minus 1. Why? Because at this first position, 1 here happens to occupy the first position, but it occupies index 0. So it will be at my array of positions of index 0 will be 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, index 5, index 6, index 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right up to 14. So for an array of 10 integers, it has as index 0 to 9. So for us to now print out all the arrays, all the elements in this array, we would move from 0 to a situation where we are actually at 14, which is strictly less than 0, and actually printing out each of them. Remember that the main function is a function and must return a value, so we usually return 0. So you see, it actually printed back our array to us the same way it was given. So we have actually succeeded to traverse an array, a one-dimensional array. It's equally possible to modify the value of an array, the value of an element in an array. For example, we know that the index here, array here at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At index 9 is 0. What if you want to change this 0 to maybe 10, for example, or maybe let's even say 50 instead of 0. In that, like, what we would have to do is just to say, okay, my array of position of index 9 should now hold the value 50. To see if it has worked, what we will now have to do is to print back this, is to traverse the array once more. So you see that the 0 here has been replaced by 50. We have succeeded to modify an element in an array. So if you want to modify an element in an array, all you need to know is the index of that array. Multidimensional arrays are arrays of multiple dimensions. For example, we could think of a matrix. A matrix, well, is a very suitable example for describing multidimensional arrays. The matrix is of two dimensions, generally the row and the column. So for that case, so how do we declare a multidimensional array? Let's say, for example, we want to declare, let's say we want to work with a matrix. Matrix that might be has, let's say, 2 rows and 2 columns, a 2 by 2 matrix. So to populate this matrix, what we have to do is to type out matrix of 2 by 2. You open a parenthesis, just that this parenthesis will contain other parentheses. Like this the parenthesis would contain the first parenthesis that would actually hold the first set of elements with two values. That would be, maybe we could just say 1, 0. So how do we actually traverse now multidimensional array? Well, according to the number of dimensions it has, just like this one has 2 dimensions for a row and a column. Since it has 2 dimensions, we will now have to bring up 2 integers to bring up for our for loop. That means we'll have 2 for loops. And that's that actually. For us to see it in a clearer view, we could add a /n, that we add a break to the statement, to the print statement. And so you see it's a 1, 0 and a 0, 1. If you wish to access or modify a particular element in that array, you would need to know its index for the 2 dimensions. That's, you will have to know the index for the first dimension and the index for the next dimension. So thanks for watching. See you in our next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share.